There's a general methodology you can follow to add and configure a Power BI visual. It can involve up to 7 steps, and note that some of these steps are optional. Each visual you add to a report page will likely follow this methodology. Let me now show you a simple example. I need to report on monthly order counts for a specific product. I then begin with step 1, adding a visual to the report page. Here in Power BI Desktop, I notice that the report page already has a slicer and that it's set to calendar year 2020. The quickest way to add a visual is to select the visual type in the Visualizations pane. I hover my cursor over the visual types, and a tooltip reveals the type of visual. I then click to add a stacked column chart to the report page. I then drag to position that visual, and then by dragging the bottom right corner, I resize the visual to fill the remaining space on the page. Step 2. Map fields to populate the visual. A quick way to map a field to the visual is simply to check it in the Fields pane. So in the Fields pane, I expand the date table and I check the month field. I notice that it's automatically added to the axis well of the visual. However, that approach may not map the field to the visual well I want. So another technique is to drag-drop the field directly into the visual well. So I expand the sales table and I drag the revenue field and drop it into the values well. The visual is now minimally configured and it produces a visual result. I can now see monthly columns expressing sales revenue. Step 3. Apply visual level filters. It's not common to apply visual level filters. Often, visuals inherit report or page level filters, or they receive filters from other visuals on the page. In this example, and for demonstration purposes, I will add a visual level filter. In the Fields pane, I expand the product table, and then I drag the product field into the Filters pane. Specifically, I drop it into the filters for the visual. I then check a single product, product B, and then collapse the filter card. Step 4. Modify field mappings. The mapped fields can also be configured. When columns are mapped to a visual well and that well supports summarization, I can modify the aggregation method. Notice here in the Values field that revenue is configured to sum. I will modify the aggregation method to count. I can also rename a field for the purpose of this visual. The default name Counter Revenue isn't quite accurate, so I click, open the context menu, and then rename for this visual. I rename it as Orders. Next, I notice that there are some missing months. That's because Power BI visuals, by default, remove groupings that produce blank summarization. It tells me that no orders for product B have happened for some months of calendar year 2020. However, I want to see all months in the visual, even when no sales were recorded. So I can configure the month to show items with no data. The last 3 steps that map visuals, apply visual level filters, and have modified field mappings all contribute to create an analytic query. That query is used by the visual to retrieve a result from the data model. The final steps in the general methodology are concerned with sorting, styling, and overlaying additional analytic features. Step 5. Modify sort field and/or sort direction. At the top right of the visual, I can click the ellipsis to open the context menu and then modify the sort field. I modify it to sort by month. But then I notice the months are sorted in reverse direction. So I click the ellipsis again to open that context menu and modify to sort in ascending direction. Step 6. Apply format options. All visuals have format options, which are available in the Visualizations pane by clicking the paint roller icon. In this example, I will enable data labels. I will expand the title section and then modify the title text. I include the filtered product in the title. That's important because when you apply visual level filters, you need to communicate that in a way to your report consumers. So the new title is Product B Orders by Month. I collapse the title section and then I expand the background section and modify the color to a light grey. Step 7. Apply analytics options. Some visuals have analytics options, which are available in the Visualizations pane by clicking the analytics icon. The stacked column chart visual supports just the one option that lets me create a constant line. I expand the constant line section, click Add. I then double-click the name of the line to rename it. I rename it as Monthly Targets. In the value box, I set a value of 100 to become the monthly target. And then I enable the data label, and then there's a property for the label named text, and I set it to the name and value.